Now you can say, welcome to the Sunday Funday podcast. It's actually recording you now.
Oh.
Welcome to the Sunday Funday podcast.
Welcome to the
Welcome to the
Sunday Funday podcast. Oh, oh my God. Wow, you're just letting me be like that?
Well, you also have the lapel.
Where's my Welcome to the Sunday Funday podcast, the hangover that never sounded or smelled or anything so good. This is Spill, the NFT, your girl.
Talking to myself.
I'm talking to my baby mic.
No, you got that mic on too.
Oh. And we're doing a special rendition on a Monday because we're getting turned. And I have two mics. Thank you.
Manic Monday.
Thank you.
Did
Thank
you
you.
say Spill take over?
Yes, I'm taking over, fools.
So
Go ahead.
take over.
So
Ask questions.
Take over. How are you going to have a takeover and not take over?
everyone raise your hand if you like being
We're not in an X space. We
I
are
don't
live.
understand
It's
what is
recording.
going on.
Where's this laughing emoji?
It's not a space.
I want to gas myself up.
Why are you gassing yourself up? You don't have to talk. You can take the
Do you guys prefer this one or both?
They can't hear
Let me
you.
know. Take a vote. Make a poll.
Oh, my baby Jesus, Lord.
Is Stymie coming?
So Akil.
I hope she does. Yes.
I'm gonna
I've
pass
seen
it back
your
to Akil.
podcast And
Leslie's trying to take over, but it's not her takeover. It's my takeover. So Akil, I see your podcast is trying to be
Akil.
Akil.
I review.
You know
your
I review your videos.
I review
Every
your
review
podcast.
your podcast.
Yes.
And they start right away.
They start
you
right
guys
away.
Get into those
You guys get into
conversations,
those conversations,
and it's
and it's very fluid.
And I know we have had
And I
some
know
struggles.
we've had some struggles with
this
it.
one.
This one, that one.
What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? Back to you, Akil.
So the Sunday Funday podcast, your hangover that never sounded so good, was started because I recognized there was a gap.
Right.
There's a gap between young men being able to have conversations that were authentic. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we alter stories and alter conversations to make sure that we can protect most of the individuals. But sometimes we don't get there.
Right.
Sometimes it hurts people's feelings. And sometimes I have to remind myself that I am a big presence.
Oh,
They're
no
little.
doubt.
I
He's
have
big
to bring
and they're
myself
little.
back down.
No doubt.
Sometimes you have to remember that who you are as an individual can also be intimidating. And so you remember that, hey, you bring yourself back down to humility and you go, I have to respect other people's wishes. So that's what I do here on the Sunday Funday.
Oh my God.
I'm blind too. Thank you. Put my glasses down. I can't actually see. So you bring yourself back down and you got to make sure that you try to protect all people. The name, story, characters, sometimes the information. Listen, I've watched friends go through very traumatic events.
You need to
including
lift your
myself.
mic up a little bit more.
Well, actually, I watched the levels right there. So you can see number 4. It has the level up. So that lets you know that I'm speaking just loudly enough.
Well, then why did you have mine in my mouth?
Well, because you put it in your mouth, my dear.
Where did I put it?
You put it.
You
put
said
it
you
in your
put
mouth.
it in your mouth.
Just put it in my mouth.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
That's from Akinili. It's from the 90s. These kids don't know about that.
Do you want this back?
What? The Fidji's?
Okay, so back to you, Akil.
Back to me. What do you want?
So back to you, Akil.
So thank you for that amazing story. Love that you are empowering men, young men, giving them a voice and, creating this podcast. And I think today was very special because you have not had women.
I have not. This is the first time women have been on this weekend. It's been the first time we've had women on the Sunday Funday podcast. Your hangover never sounded good. Now, we did have a young lady on the show, but she was off camera, and I did not put out the episode. Actually, do you guys want to hear about the episodes that haven't come out?
Yes. Tell us.
All right. So there are a multitude of episodes that never even hit that scene, right? Mm-hmm. One episode is with a bunch of college young men, right? They all go to a fairly large institution, and the reason why the episode didn't come out is because they wouldn't stop smoking the bong on the pod. Like, you could hear them And I was like, guys, can you put that away? They're like, what? So like the whole time, it's just a bunch of guys smoking a bong and getting really loud and obnoxious. Another episode that never made it to air was
My cheeks hurt.
what?
I'm smiling so much. My cheeks hurt.
Steve Barnes is Captain America. Now, do you guys know, like, there's this guy named Bucky Barnes and Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers was Captain America.
I know Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes becomes Captain America at some point when Steve Rogers retires as Captain America.
Yeah.
So we actually know a guy named Steve Barnes. So Bucky Barnes, Steve Rogers, Bucky Barnes. So we got Steve Barnes is Captain America. Well, this young man is a phenomenal guy, but he actually told us a story where he goes, oh yeah, I had my pictures doctored for Tinder. He's a good-looking guy.
Not the doctoring of the pictures.
Yeah, he actually had his pictures doctored, and I said, why would you do that? He actually, what is that?
That's you. Where is he getting?
I don't know. He's probably out the cowboy is doing some crazy things. But he actually had his photos doctored, like edited, and he's like, "What
Like his
little
pee-pee?
something, little thing?" I was like, "Dude, why
Oh,
would
his
you do
face.
that?"
Why did I say pee-pee? Oh my god.
No, just his face.
Oh.
It's all about angles if you're gonna get the pee-pee.
I don't know.
But yeah, he had his face out, and I actually said, I was like, "Dude, that's like false advertisement." I was like, "Dude, why don't you?" And he's not a bad-looking guy. He's a very good-looking man.
But like, how
Not misogyny.
doctored were the pictures?
He was like a mole over here. I was like, dude, that's not even like a big deal. Just
Yeah. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
serious.
It wasn't
doctoring.
serious. It was just like you know.
I mean, a lot.
And
of
he's a
people
fit
do it.
dude.
Yeah.
And actually, I found out a very funny story. He told us,
This
he goes,
is not my good side,
he
by
was
the
in
way.
an auto accident, and he had to have his jaw wired shut. I was like, so that chiseled like jaw look is like by accident? He goes, yeah, I was in a car accident. I was like,
Oh,
Jesus.
wow.
So you got better looking after the car accident. One of the few times in my life where I go, Jesus, man, God gave you a favor, because I saw the before and after photos.
Wow.
It's like the best thing ever happened to you was getting in a car accident. So that was a Steve Barnes episode. There was another episode about one of our buddies. He had a baby.
Him.
Oh,
You roasted him.
I roast them all the time.
So is that the reason why you didn't put it out, because they were doctored?
No, we didn't put the video out because we lost the audio.
Oh.
So we lost. So we.
Oh, you lost it?
No, I really did lose the audio. So what happens is I record. So I record audio on one device and I record video on another, and we legit lost the audio when we transferred devices. So it got corrupted somehow. So I lost it.
Well, that's a bummer.
It was a good episode, and now he lives in London. Oh, and by the way, he had one of the best stories ever. He actually fell in love on vacation.
Really?
Which is a cardinal sin for all men.
Why is it a cardinal sin?
You don't fall in love on vacation. It's not real.
I mean, you never know, right?
No.
I
So you
fall in
don't
love
believe in
every
love?
day.
I believe in love.
At
I
first
don't
sight?
believe in love on vacation.
So is it love or lust?
Oh.
I think during vacation, you
That's
shouldn't
the
fall
one
in
that keeps
love. And
smearing
actually,
people.
he admits he didn't fall in love, but we gave him shit. But ultimately, when you're on vacation, it's not real at all. What are you doing?
I don't know. I am. I'm me.
Okay. When you fall in love on vacation, it's not a real love, because in the moment, everything is perfect.
Right.
It's like a movie, right? The movie set is perfect. The lighting is perfect. Everything is strategically placed. Everything is perfect. Well, that's not real life. Because outside of real life, like it's like, hey, things aren't always going to be perfect. And
I'm
so there's
pretty perfect.
ups and downs. There's going to be ebbs and flows.
Just kidding.
And so falling in love on vacation isn't real life, because as soon as you get back to the real world, it's like, oh, you don't get to hang out with me by the beach all day? You actually have to go to work? Yeah, babe.
Nobody works in Web3. I'm kidding.
Well, not everything I do is Web3 based. So I have cannabis companies and I do other things.
What kind of cannabis companies?
Pot, weed.
Oh, cannabis. I said canvas. Why am I leaning?
Yeah, so that was another episode. So we've had some really good episodes that just never made to air, and hopefully one day I'll be able to find the audio for them and we can put them back on air. But otherwise, I think we've done a very good work. We've done 2 seasons now. I probably got about 30 episodes out there, and I'm going to continue to work the Sunday Funday podcast, your hangover that never sounded so good, especially with this new batch of folks. I do think there's a lot of good people here at Gmedia and a lot of young women that are coming up that can help me be a better content creator.
So now that you brought on a different dynamic today and some women, are you going to shift it a little, or you're going to continue? Was this a special episode, or you will be continuing the way you run?
I would love to have women on the podcast more.
That was a great question, Leslie.
Thank you.
I would love to have women on the podcast more. I think the fundamental problem for me is finding women that can speak without limitations. I think that's the hardest thing. You have to have do three things to be a good podcast host. You have to be able to be authentic, you have to be genuine, and you have to be unhinged.
Unhinged. Oh God, I would be fantastic.
Women.
Why am I leaning?
But would you like for them to be there in person, or can you Zoom them in?
I think we started to play around with a little Zoom. We've got a new episode coming out with Pat Downey Jr., former MMA fighter. He actually was banned from wrestling for several years, and actually he's an MMA fighter today. And the reason why he was banned was because he basically said some things that women didn't think were very nice. At least he picks up after himself.
But that we do love that about him. That's for people that don't know, he is my nephew. That's Rangu.
Go ahead, eat. Yeah.
It's Ranga.
Rangu. Is it Ranga or Rangu?
I thought it was Cowboy.
I thought it was
No,
Ranga.
it's my nephew.
I have no idea. Who is he?
My nephew.
I thought it was Cowboy.
Did you say ragu, like the sauce?
No, like it's.
Are you gonna nod? Which is it, Rangu or Cowboy?
Rangu.
Both. It's both. It's both. He says.
Yeah, it's the Rangu cowboy.
Is it Ranga?
Have you guys seen that? Isn't that like a cartoon or something?
I have no idea. I've never watched it.
But it's Ranga.
Ranga?
I'm pretty sure.
So
Is it
he's
Jenga?
my nephew, but I don't know his name.
Fool?
But we at least got him. We at least know he has a voice box because he laughed.
Hey guys, look at my jacket. It's cool. Choose to be kind.
So earlier today, well, a few minutes ago, we filmed another episode, and you graciously had us on here. I don't even know if it went that well, in my opinion, because I do have a little bit more professional spaces, X spaces, and for people that don't know, that's Twitter, now called X, and we host spaces on there.
Twitter.
Yes, and it is a little more professional, so I know it was a little bit unhinged. So is that normal for you? Was that okay, or
I like to be very clear. I am very much a practitioner in how I bring my podcast around. I create spaces where you can share stories and narratives, but really what we're sharing is information.
Right.
We talk about CTE, we talk about men's health, we talk about relationships, we talk about professional development, we talk about not listening to your stupid friends.
Yeah.
And we also talk about the mistakes we've made as men. I've made a lot of mistakes. Like, I think one of the funny things that most of my audience will know is that I tell the story about I've had 125 women.
Wait, you've had 125 women?
Women.
This is Gmedia, Erotica.
In relationships.
Like relationships, sexually,
yeah.
After dark, late night swim.
Penetration, 125. Oh,
I would prefer to have a baby mic, I think.
With 125. Yeah, and so
I don't know what else to ask after that.
A lot of my friends are like, "How would you do that, knowing that you're gay now?" And I go, "I think for me, I had to make a lot of apologies to a lot of different women because I learned what it felt like to be used."
So when you're saying you had 125 women, and now you're gay.
Yeah. Well, being publicly gay.
Publicly, okay.
Because I was always gay. I was just kind of like pretend.
So when you were with the women, you were gay, but you were not open about it,
Yeah, pretty much.
then what kept you going through the women if you knew you
Oh,
were?
I was, you know, I was an elite athlete. I was a professional. I wanted to.
I'm also an elite athlete.
I wanted to fit
I
the
also
role.
have no. I'm just-
But why?
Because at the time, that's what you did. Hypermasculinism was the role I had to play. Everybody plays
You
a
had
fool.
to?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah. There's no exception to the rule.
I didn't just do
Every male has to play their role in the society. I think there's a great artist, Dax, and I told you about him. Dax, it's like what it's like to be a man, and it's like he's got this is like being a man is what you make it. Like you're just out here trying to do your best, and I think for a lot of young men, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, they're trying to just be the best version of themselves they can.
Yeah.
But it gets really hard when our society puts on these constraints where you don't get to be a man. You don't get to be fun.
At what point through this trajectory did you feel that both fields or whatnot, and then move on past that and be like, you know what, now I'm openly gay. I want to stop with this facade, so I'm just moving into this direction.
If I were to say when, it was about 2004, 2003. It was not a very good time in my life. It was a very dark time. And so at the time, I was driving and I was like, you know what, I'm done with football. I quit. I'm leaving school. And I'm driving down the road and I I see this truck coming at me. And I go, fuck it. I let go of the wheel. And I was hoping that I'd smash into the truck. And all of a sudden, it goes into the ditch. And the car kind of gets tainted and trashed a little bit. And I had to call my mom and get it towed out. And I'm just like, I didn't call her frantic or anything, but like before I called her, I was just crying in tears. And that was the day I realized it's like God had a mission for me. And it wasn't to die that day. I literally said, Jesus, take the wheel, hoping that I would die. The truck didn't kill me. The crash didn't kill me. I got out, got the car towed, and I lived. And that day I was like, you know what? Fuck the world. Fuck what the world thinks about me. I'm gonna live for me now. And I then, you know, it's a long journey. You know, here we are in 2023, and I'm just now dealing with like the death of friends from 9/11. I remember, and this is a true story. I went to a therapist, and my therapist was looking at me, and she is floored. And I'm like, what? And she goes, because I told her a story. She says, have you dealt with trauma in your life? I was like, not really. And I thought about it. She was like, well, any death in your families? I said, well, I had a friend die during 9/11 in the Twin Towers. Oh, and I had a buddy killed. Oh, and then my cousin was murdered. Oh, and then another friend of mine died. Oh, then my aunt died. And then my this, and then like, she literally was just sitting there for 5 minutes. And I just said, what? And she goes, that's a lot of death. That's a lot of trauma. Did you deal with any of it? I go, what do you mean deal with it?
Yeah.
I'm here, aren't I? This was helping me with that. And this woman's like, yo, how the fuck did you make it out? And when you start thinking about how your life trajectory has changed because there were strong individuals or strong people in your life that kept you sane, that kept you going the right way, that kept you from killing yourself, that kept you out of trouble, you start recognizing that you owe a debt to not only yourself, but to society. So that's what I do now. That's why the Sunday Funday podcast, The Hangover That Never Sounded So Good, is so important to me. It's my way of ensuring that there is not another person on this planet that ever has to feel like they're alone and that they don't have people around them.
So it's important for you to bring that awareness, that visibility, that, hey, you're not alone. I'm here. I was a product of this.
Yeah. And it's a lot of trauma. Like for me, I'm a very cis hetero male acting guy.
Yeah.
Like I tell, people are like, why don't you go to the gay clubs? I'm like, why? I don't like that music.
Yeah.
Just don't. But I'm very much a football loving, beer drinking. I used to chew tobacco, but I don't know if I want to do this. But anyway, I was beer drinking, tobacco chewing, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, some bitch. But now I'm just like, I'm a keel. I wear Nike Tech and Jordans. Oh, and I wear a lot of glasses because I'm blind as hell.
Yo, it really is though.
I really am. I told her. I was like, I can't see.
It's like the basketball glasses that you see him wearing, but like if you're for real couldn't see. Like,
If you for real couldn't see.
You know?
I can't.
You know how they wear these? Oh my God, I can't see. I'm like literally, this is wild.
Yeah, we're a wild group.
So,
Yo, that was a good story.
podcast, like, what is your vision? Where do you want to see yourself, like, within the next year?
I was tearing up.
In the next 5 years, the Sunday Funday podcast will develop a documentary. That's what I want. I created a treatment. Yeah.
Put it to the universe.
Oh no, absolutely. I want to develop a documentary, and I would love to have a documentary called "I Know a Guy," the most uninteresting life ever lived. Because I do know a guy for almost everything, and I've had a great experiences. I've was an Olympic team trials qualifier. I was a U.S. Nationals All-American. I was a football All-American. I've worked with the NFL, the Major League Baseball, NBA. I've had the opportunity to travel the country, and I've been able to travel parts of the world. I've had a very unique life for a guy that most people would be like, you should have been dead at some point. So, and that's why every day is a blessing. And I'm a crypto guy, right? I love cryptocurrency. So I just tie everything into that because I think a lot of us in the industry are people that have had some sort of pain, especially in the Web3, NFT, crypto, technology world. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just don't talk about it.
I think everyone in the world's in pain and a lot of people don't talk about it.
Yeah, because they think they're on an island, but they're not. Like, we all been through shit.
Which is why it's important to speak your truths. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Speak your truth. I want to shift gears a little bit.
Go ahead.
So
I'd like to shift gears a little bit. Hold on. Let me shift gears a little bit because I'm in control. This is my takeover. Thank you.
All right, go ahead. Thank you, Spill.
Thank you, Spill. So with that being said, I am the voice of Spill tonight. I am speaking on her behalf, even though she did take over.
Oh, sorry.
So I do have a question because, you do work with Gokhshtein Media.
Absolutely.
You have known David for what, 4 years now?
Yeah, about 4 years.
How did you even meet David? And
so David was a known entity on Twitter before the Twitter Spaces were out, and David would post tweets online. Yeah. And it wasn't like he was like super famous or anything. He was just on Twitter. He had about maybe...
Who's David? Is he even famous?
I heard he skips leg day.
Oh. Now you're really going to fight.
Oh my gosh.
So David was on Twitter. And then...
I heard he likes to wear his shirt off a lot.
I think it was like 2020, 2021. David got into, he was what was called one of the original test audiences for Twitter Spaces. So 2020 was when they released, which was very weird. Like in 2020, they were releasing these these test spaces where only certain accounts were given access to them. And this is like, very few people had the check mark. And David, I think it was October maybe, he was given access, so you would go in these spaces. But David also had been on Clubhouse, so, it's a different world, and Discords and Telegrams were around. God, it feels like forever ago. Mm-hmm. And it feels really like very archaic, because we weren't really talking on them, we were just watching people type. And then David got in some test spaces. Him and several other people were on these Dogecoin ones. David was talking about him. And slowly and surely other people got access to him. And David just was there. And one day, somebody accused David of being racist. And what I said was, well, that wasn't really racist because he was talking out loud. Like, I understand people that if you think in non-sequential order, non-linear, you start like trying to like piece things together. And so you're like, A plus C, D. You start answering questions out loud of yourself. You're like, well, if the moon is bright, then the sun is dark. Where did the sun go? Because isn't the sun a star? Like, you're just answering things out loud. And David was answering questions out loud. Somebody said, you're just racist and you won't let black people up here. And I was like, well, he's not racist. It's like, he might have a different way of thinking, but he's not racist.
Yeah.
And David was like, thank you, man. He goes, yeah, I'm just trying to think through the question because I need to figure out what you're asking me. Then David and I have been cool ever since then. And he hired a whole team onto Gmedia before then. We had writers and editors because it was a magazine. Obviously, COVID kind of killed that. And it went to almost this online format. We had people writing articles.
But COVID also brought us together.
Yeah, it brought a lot of people together in different ways. And then we were in, Clubhouse, Discord, and this small group of us started to just kind of chill because we didn't have much to do during COVID. It's like, whatever. Yeah. And then, the bull run happens, and next thing you know, we're cool. And I resigned from the chief communications officer position because I like being content. I like to talk the talk. And
So when he hired you, did you tell him, hire me?
No.
Or he
came,
was like,
pursued
he was
me. Yeah, he pursued me. Not like pursued me like, some people think.
I know. I was like, wow, David.
Well, no, David didn't pursue me like that. He's like, hey, man, what do you think about coming on board the team? And I was like, sure. The first show that I ever did was called The Big Three and Me. It was supposed to be 3 former football players.
That's what I call them. That's what I call Leslie, Bianca, and David.
We had a 4th person that would come on. The video was very bad. Our audio sucked.
The Big Three Fools.
And eventually it just became The Big Three and Me with me. And then we stopped it. And then I spent almost a year developing this show, the Sunday Funday Podcast, The Hangover That Never Sounded So Good. And originally, somebody didn't like the content that I was going to put out. They were like, but we're a Web3 company. Why are you doing? Because Web3 is boring.
Oh.
It is. No. Web3 during a bull market is boring.
I mean, speak for yourself. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. That's how I met you fools.
You know what? I beg to differ because I'm saying I had a lot of fun. David will probably be like, she was super boring.
Well, no, a lot of people talk about other things, though. They didn't just talk about crypto. If you look at some of the biggest accounts in the world.
Not her roasting herself.
The biggest accounts in the world started because they weren't talking about NFTs or cryptocurrencies. They were talking about politics and the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, that was...
What in the living? And then David and I were doing that, and David just never leaned into it. If we would have leaned into it like we wanted to.
And rocked with it?
We would have had, and again, I've had 3 accounts suspended by Elon Musk, so at this point, I don't care.
Why are they getting suspended? What are you doing?
Yeah, why are they getting suspended?
Oh, I speak the truth. I will say exactly what I said. Elon cannot speak. Elon Musk and his team arbitrarily define what is freedom of speech and what is not. They just do.
In what way? How so?
So when you know that we've had smaller team member accounts suspended, right. And when you ask them why was I suspended, they can't tell you why. Oh, you violated a rule. Well, what tweet was violated? You have to suck it? Yeah, whatever. Your mama.
Deadpool.
What are they doing?
Well, my understanding is that some of them do get feedback,
I never
And
got
some
it.
of the accounts maybe get suspended because X picks up the AI. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I couldn't help it.
Picks it up as maybe
Oh,
possibly being a spam account.
I never heard one word from Twitter that said either way. And
Well, that was back in the day, right? Prior to Elon, or did you
no,
get
Elon. It was Elon that suspended me.
Like
So
he
he
literally
went to
text
your
messaged you.
So
Like-
Elon went to your account and
He
was
said
like,
to kill.
I'm gonna suspend and block.
Ooh, not
us
Elon.
liberals get blocked all the time from Elon. Alex Jones back on the site.
So you
Trump.
truly believe
What if
that
someone doesn't know what a
Elon
liberal is?
I think
sits
Elon Musk.
there on his laptop and is like, ooh, let me cancel a kill.
No, I don't think he's thinking of kill, but I think Elon, their algorithm picks up and disproportionately impacts people.
He was trying to kill a kill.
who just aren't his favorites.
I mean, but
My
out of
autistic
so
brother's
many
back.
people that's registered on X, why do you think he personally is canceling you?
I didn't say me. I said he picks up, the algorithm picks up on people that just.
So you don't think it's his algorithm, his bots, but not Elon?
I don't think Elon himself is going around doing this because, come on, that's a lot of work.
Right, exactly. And he's a very busy man.
And that's
making
why I
money.
said the algorithms that his team created focuses on people who are speaking up against what
So
they
you don't
dislike.
think that AI is probably picking up as you being a spam account?
What is spam account? I tweet like 5 times a day
Well, this one hasn't been suspended, right?
because I literally don't talk about anything that I don't care about.
Who's Alex Jones?
Who's Nick Jones?
Who's Jenna
Who's
Jones?
Mike Jones?
Mike
Mike
Jo- Mike Jones. Alex Jones
Who's
is
Indiana Jones? I could do this all day.
So ask what Bill, what is your favorite
who's Alex
feature about David?
Alex Jones.
I really
is,
like his nipples. Thank
All right,
you.
all right.
Thank you for asking.
So Alex Jones
And
is
his
a
brain,
provocateur.
his
He
big
was
brain.
actually the man
Oh
who said
my
that Sandy
gosh.
Hook children were not murdered,
I think I'm
Okay.
sleeping.
and they brought him
Oh, yeah.
back, and Donald Trump, and like it's
But they were actors, like.
Don't
right?
call HR.
Yeah.
Okay.
like I don't like
Don't
I don't
even-
like that kind of
don't
stuff.
even.
I think kids should be allowed to be kids. My most controversial thing ever is that I actually did an interview that hasn't been out yet. I did an interview with a former trans person.
And how did that go?
The person is detransitioning. They're trying to be back to a male. They went from male to female, and they're trying to detransition. The episode should be coming out soon. We have the audio and some of the video for that. I think that was the most controversial episode I've done of to date, and I think that
So,
that might get me
okay.
suspended from Twitter.
Back up a little. So they went from female to male.
No, male to female,
female, and
back,
then
to male. Yeah. And they had the full surgery.
Can that
Yes,
It can?
it's very painful. Apparently, it's very long. It's very arduous, but it can be done.
So can you tell us a little bit more about as to
Well, you
why-
gotta watch the episode. It's not out yet, but
Oh,
the person I've known them for several years. I've known them for almost 10 years.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's Ava Pip. Now they go by Koa Pip, and I believe they were born Jonathan or Jacob. They're Italian. So like it's like when you meet people over time, you're like, I don't know what to call you anymore.
Right.
Like, but I definitely understood that. Like, I've always respected people for being themselves. Like, you know, a trans child is a trans child. Like you can't fix that. You can't try to hurt them, harm them in any way. But what I don't also agree with is that sometimes you need to let kids be kids. Because children at a young age, we don't allow them to go to rated R movies. We don't allow them to, pick their nose sometimes. Like, there's all these rules you have for the kids. It's like, give kids an opportunity to grow and develop. Then decide allow them to decide as they get older and they mature into their bodies. Because it's a very difficult decision to make. And one that it's very painful at times.
I matured into my body quick,
Did you?
real quick. I was like 5'8" or 9" by the time I was in like second grade or first grade or something wild. Swear to God.
You were just a big person?
Yeah.
You had.
Are you saying you had boobs at that age?
Bro, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I've had like boobs. I had to like start shaving my legs, I swear to God, in like first grade. And I was like had huge boobs. Like a size 9 shoe.
I had huge boobs too when I was 9.
Like the fuck?
Was it
My
because-
mom was like, "Yo,
Excuse
you need
me.
it. Don't worry, Hamad will bleep that."
So why did you have big boobs? Was it because you were chubby wubby?
Chunky monkey.
He got it from his mama, like I did.
We all get a lot of stuff from our mothers. Mostly our attitudes and our trauma.
I had a great, amazing attitude.
Yes. She does. I feel like when he gets spit on. That's why I put my hat on. He was like,
He is so crazy.
I mean, at least he's cleaning for
At
once.
least.
They mess with me all the time. I
They
swear
do?
to God, last
These
night.
kids.
That's why I kept looking over my shoulder. I was like waiting for them to try to scare me.
Thank you for finally cleaning.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
I don't know how to talk to you.
What do you guys think about me being part of the Gmedia team when I'm literally the one person that does not really do the X spaces? I just kind of float in the
I
ether.
FUD you all the time. I'm just kidding.
I float in the ether. I'm not like I'm not an X Twitter Spaces guy. I'm just kind of
No, and that's perfect. Why? Is because, right now, in growing the brand and growing Gmedia and us wanting to expand to different omni channels, we want to expand more into YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and we want to bring a different type of audience for every different, this is too
Every
late.
different
What time is
genre?
it? Yeah.
all the different populations.
Oh my gosh, we want to bring content creators for different type of
Throwing words out there, dinosaurs.
genre and for different audiences out there, because there's going to be people that are going to relate to you, relate to her, relate to the guys that might not relate,
I'm
vice
so
versa.
relatable.
And
I don't
she's
have any
relatable.
relations.
So you creating YouTube, I think that's perfect. Podcast, we need more of this, and we're trying to encourage the current content creators to create more podcasts, to create.
Not us being called out.
Call out right here on the Sunday Fun Day podcast.
You heard it first with my baby mic.
You have no baby mic. It's in my hand.
Oh, dang it.
And one of the things that is popping and studying the market out there is people are attracted to them feeling as they're part of your life, what you're doing. It's like if you're bringing them in, if you're sucking them in, you're playing on their emotions and they relate to you. So like, for example,
Leslie, do you like to play with people's emotions? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back.
Yeah.
like TikTok.
Because I just told you everything you needed to know.
Right. Like TikTok, one of the things that I see that take off are the videos that they're showcasing how they live their life, like the cleaning videos, the cooking videos, unboxing videos of whatever they buy, the products, or yeah, like right now.
The audience agreed.
So I think it's very important for us to have more of those visuals. And sometimes too, it's like, were you telling us yesterday, or was somebody telling us that if you do have a podcast channel, or like the TV shows, how sometimes we'll be sitting there and we're listening to it.
Oh, yeah. I told you guys,
Yeah.
like, most people just have it on as, like, ambiance.
Right.
White
It's
noise.
almost like a friend having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's called white noise.
And and I've
Yeah.
done that before, and that kind of left me thinking today too about what we can do to kind of engage the audience, because I'm one of those that if I'm sitting down doing my makeup and I do have to have something in the background, or when I'm doing work during the day, I have to be listening to something. Sometimes I don't want to listen to music, and if I have that visual, you know, it's like I'll go back and
You
look
check
at
it out. Like
yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm gonna glance at it. Almost like you know, the older we get, the TV watches us. It's like I wasn't really watching TV. The TV was watching me. It was on, but I'm like, I really wasn't watching
Yes.
it.
No,
Like
so
I wasn't thinking about it. I was
important.
gonna do it, but I wasn't thinking about it.
Do you guys watch Dateline? Has anybody ever watched Dateline?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like I listened to it, but I never actually watch it. I'm like, in a
There's
world.
times,
like,
yes,
In a
you know,
world.
it's like I used to play it on my
One man.
phone and do work and then just have it there, and I would just listen to it, and then sometimes I would be like, wait, I want to see their faces. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Because
exactly.
you see their faces,
Like
and
this
I-
man killed his
yes.
daughter. You're like, what does he look like?
Wait, what does he look like? And that way they continue talking, and then it's
Boomers.
like you already have that image
Yeah,
of them.
yeah. He's like, he's a 6'5" blonde haired man. You're like, I know a
What?
6'5" blonde haired man.
Why are we all looking for a 6'5" blonde-haired man all of a sudden in the room?
Where is he?
Whose man's is this?
Well, you know what the funny thing is? It's like I'm always interested. Like, this could be my neighbor.
Right?
Like you're like in
Or this
San
looks
Marino,
like
Texas.
Nikki, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks like Nikki.
What did you say?
Like you know that's the feeling you get.
He has ants in his pants. He does not stop.
It's hard for me like to watch him do that.
I love Nikki. He's a weird guy, but I love
I
him.
want to help you.
Every time I walk by Spill, she got a new.
I think everybody on the team is a little weird, but I don't think I would have it any other way.
I think the weirdest thing about all of us is that we're
I'm not weird at all.
That
Let me
we're
get
not
my
weird?
baby Mike and
No,
ask.
like
Am I weird?
You think
No,
at some
we are.
well, you keep talking into a non-existent baby.
That's
Mike.
weird.
That is weird. But I think most of us just we don't conform to what society has given us. We're just like, we're gonna do our own thing,
Yeah.
and I like that. Although I am each day getting older, I at least feel prouder about the work and the legacy I live.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And now that I heard the backstory, I literally was almost crying.
Oh, don't
I mean,
worry.
you grow on people. I remember coming into Spaces. I met you in Spaces, and I met you because you and Stacky were co-hosting with David.
Yeah, we were doing the breakdown and
Yeah.
Stacky, and Vaughn and other people
But
were there.
and I remember you would get rowdy. It's like, you know, going back and forth. Sometimes with Vana,
Oh yeah.
sometimes with the audience, with Stacks. With Stacks, it
David.
was funny. Yeah, David. When David gets all fired up.
Yeah.
And then I remember Stacks one day was like, "Come in here," and I'm like, "No,
It's like I don't want to go there.
I don't want to
with those
go."
guys.
And she's like, "Get in here," and I'm like, "Okay." So I go in there, and then she sends me a speaker request. She's like, "Come up." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Come up." I'm like, "No, accept my request." So finally, I came up one day, and you never talked to me, but
Everyone always says this. It's not that I'm not talking to you. I'm just angry at somebody else. It's like you were not in my crossfires. I'm like, I ain't anything mean to say
Yeah.
to you, so I'm just gonna go back over here to this bitch. Excuse my language.
over here fighting.
I was trying to
David
bloop
was the
it.
one that would fight with me. He didn't know me, and he was the one that would start his
Because
little.
David always felt like you were hitting on her because is she actually hit on me? I was like, I don't think she's hitting on you.
Wait, who moved the water of shame? Like,
David, you know what? David thinks everybody
Oh.
hits on him, right, David? No, I'm kidding. He doesn't. He's clueless sometimes.
oh, not David's gonna see this.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Does
matter.
it really matter if he sees it? Oh my God, David Gokhshtein saw something
Wait,
on his channel.
do you
No,
think
I
he-
meant
wait,
because
do you
I
think-
said that he didn't do leg day.
No.
And,
That is messed up.
and that he
is
had
gonna
good
fight you.
nipples.
He will
Are you
fight
hitting on him?
Do you have a crush on him?
Do you have
Do
a
you
crush?
have a crush on him?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Not.
I think
No.
1, 2, 3, not it.
Dave, no, nose goes.
Nose goes.
That, it doesn't count.
You
him,
were
but
the
that's
last
it's
one.
it's 1, 2, 3, not it. I don't know what these boomers are talking about. It's 1, 2, 3, not it.
All right, so we are.
No,
moving,
look.
Whatever.
David would fight with me.
Yeah, he fights with me too.
Yes, he would fight with everybody. The thing
1,
is
2, 3, not
that he didn't know my person. Y'all so disrespectful. Ooh. But he didn't know my personality, and I never.
It is dry at times.
Yes, my personality, and I rarely get mad. You know, it takes a lot for me to get mad, and he would always fight me. And I was always so nice. And then one day, out of nowhere, he was like, I think he said something like, women need to listen to men or something like that. And then I responded with, yes, Daddy King David. And then I went and added at David Gokhshtein to my profile with a little dinosaur.
Daddy, oh, good Lord.
Do you remember that? And then in one of the spaces, I was telling everybody, hey, I don't know what we were doing, going back and forth. And then I would be like, how can I dislike your hair? I don't remember what, but I was like,
How can
everybody.
I serve you, Daddy King David?
I know. I was like, this is good.
And then I would be like, everybody go to my profile.
Gmedia erotica part 2.
But no,
Why do you
Dave.
keep talking your non-existent lapel mic?
But no, I've never had a crush on David.
Look, this is a hot
Ever.
Yeah, hot
take. I
take.
need some tea.
Hot take.
Yeah, so David has never.
I'm spilled the tea and I don't have tea.
Yeah, David is he is an interesting cat, to say the least. And I think
This is a hot take.
the older, the more I've become friends with him, you know, we've grown with each other.
Yeah.
We've been there through some hard times, some good times. I mean, the last 4 years really fucked up a lot of people. Last 5 years. You know, even before COVID, it was just, we were fighting about politics and who the president was. And, you know, now I think like we're getting back to a place where like, we just don't care.
Yeah.
We're not over it. We're all just getting back to a place. No, I'm serious. We're just over it. Everyone's over
Why are
it.
you
Like,
getting shy and red?
I'm
Why
not.
is your forehead turning red? What's wrong?
Nothing. I thought you.
Why are your cheeks turning red?
I'm not.
we are all just getting over all the bullshit we've dealt
Yeah.
with. And I think it's been
I'm
traumatic.
a little warm.
It's been, well, because you're probably coming down off of your every day.
What the fuck?
I get high, rolling down the 995.
So how did you meet Stax?
How did
Stax was again. I think I actually met Stax in Clubhouse. Met
Leslie,
Stax in Clubhouse.
how did you meet Stax?
In Clubhouse.
And you answered.
Damn it. Stax was in Clubhouse, and I think it was because David had gone into. So there were times. Listen, we were so bored during COVID. We used to change all of our PFPs to like the same person, and we'd go to someone's room and it'd be like 10 of us.
Yes,
Did you
I
guys
remember
not
doing
have
that.
work?
I
Because
did that too. Remember when you had the
never-
ninjas in his on your? Did you ever do the ninja in your bio for David?
No.
When you had to do that back in the day.
He might have done it for some people. I didn't.
Oh.
But we would do it every morning. It's like ninjas.
I never knew about.
Yeah,
Clubhouse.
we'd go to Clubhouse and we would all have the same PFPs. And like some days we'd be emo guys. We'd all find an emo picture and we'd be like, yeah, man, our life is miserable, man. We don't like nothing, man. And then she'd be like, oh my God, how bored were we? And it really was. It was during COVID. Like we just didn't have a lot to do.
All day, every day, we did spaces.
Yeah.
That's it. And like
The Clubhouse, it was just like, I don't know what to do. Like you just be there.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. So, you know, Clubhouse and Stack was there. But I think the reason I like Stack was because like Stack, he was like in a room and I was like, hey, you know, because they were talking about like OTPs or OTCs or OTCs, right? Isn't it what he does?
OTC.
Out the closet or
Out the closet. No.
it was like those like
Not me. Not
they were
knowing
like they
what
were
it
doing like
is.
penny stocks, right?
Hold on.
They're always talking about like these low level stocks, and we were talking about like we'd come in and be like, yeah, I
my
like
brain is fried right
Bitcoin,
now.
I love Bitcoin, I love Bitcoin, and like with our little
Is
emo,
that how they would come in?
yeah, and then I guess I had like a picture of something, and his dad was like, okay, then like what else is you about? And I was like. I don't get smart me, girl. Oh, you know I'm a wrestler. She's like, I wrestle too. Shut up. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And next, that was it.
You fell in love with her.
She's a wrestler. She wrestled through high school. She was the only girl on her team.
That's hot.
And to me, that like, it's not like today. Like today, there's like all these women. Like, no, she's like a front runner, right? And to be a female wrestler on a high school team back in the day was tough. Because the guys didn't give you respect. There were no other girls to wrestle. You had to wrestle with the boys. And you had to hold your own. And to me, I'm like, yeah, a lot of women in that era earned my respect because they came to practice every day.
So you think she can take you?
She good.
No, it was not her taking me. It's that she wasn't going to take no shoot new from nobody.
No, she still don't. Beep,
Yeah. Well, I don't say
Who's
the
got
word.
the he, she, the she? Vroom.
beep, beep.
But you got to admit, like, that's respect.
Yeah.
And that's what we lack in this society. Men need to start respecting women just because, like, listen to their stories. Don't just assume you know what women are thinking or want.
Unless you're, what's his name that I can't think of either because for some reason my brain stopped working.
Oh my God, we've been on this for almost an hour.
I know.
This is the Sunday Funday podcast. Your hangover never sounded so good. We're going to wrap up this episode because I'm so tired.
And I have to finish packing. Yes. So I have to finish packing. I have no idea why I bought so much stuff. But
Why is Lizzie talking?
For the week.
yeah, so I actually have to pack because I do need to stop talking to my neighbor.
Okay, now go back to you,
We're in
Lizzie.
an hour. To the airport.
I got everybody going like this now. You won't.
Why are we doing this?
Because of me. Because of me.
I think we're tired. We're beyond tired.
Thank you for joining us here.
Everything that
Sunday podcast.
I'm rubbing off on everyone.
Sounded so good. Join us next time for another episode. And remember, tell someone you love them. Have a great day.
I love
Maybe
you,
better
Akil,
tomorrow.
Kristen.
Love you guys.
I love you.
Mwah.